Hello class, this is your teacher Mr. McDougall with your next Photoshop tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to take some hand-drawn 2D sketches and convert them into digital art to post online to make it look a little bit cleaner. Okay, so that's what we're going to practice with today. It's very simple actually. So we are converting 2D sketches into digital. Make sure you download today's exercise files and open them all up in Photoshop. You have 5 exercise files to work with, which are these hand-drawn sketches. I actually did most of them. I did this one of Venom, Gengar, this Moogle, this Dragon, but actually this 5th one of Goku and Broly is actually done by one of my past students. So it's a very good drawing, and I thought it'd be appropriate for this lesson. So we're going to take all of these and convert them into digital media. We're going to use a semi-new tool and a levels adjustment layer. It's actually going to be very simple, only a couple of steps. So the first thing we want to do is crop out to where it's just the image. So all of these, I took a picture of them, but I don't want any of this. I don't want the paper, I don't want the background, I just want the image itself. So we're going to crop it out, but we're going to use a specific type of crop tool to take the picture to make sure that it's straight and not at any kind of angle or anything. So if you go to your crop tool over here, if you click and hold in the crop tool, you'll see a similar one called the perspective crop tool. So click on that one. So the perspective crop tool is kind of like the vanishing point filter we practiced with in a previous lesson. So we're going to click in the 4 corners around the image to isolate it. So watch, I'm going to click right here. Just click once. I'm not clicking and holding. I'm just doing single clicks. And I want to stay on the paper the whole time. Click again. And then I'm going to click straight down here to make sure I keep it straight. And then I'm going to click one more right there. That's my 4th one. So now it closed the gap, and once I like it, I'm going to hit this check to confirm. And now it cropped out just the image itself, so I don't have to deal with that. And we use that one specifically in case we take the picture kind of crooked, which I tried not to. The perspective crop tool allows us to make sure that it stays straight. Okay, so now we're going to add a levels adjustment layer. So we're going to go to our adjustment layers, click right here, or the adjustments tab right there. Gives you the same thing, but click on levels. Let's expand this a little bit, shall we? So the next thing we're going to do is something we haven't done yet with the levels adjustment, is we're going to clarify the pure whites and the pure darks of the image for best contrast. So you have these droppers right here that we haven't used yet. First, use the bottom dropper, which sets the whites or the highlights. So I'm going to click on that. I want to try and find the brightest part of the image. So I'm going to click here, and that makes the image brighter. So it's saying this is the highlights and set it to be that. I can click around again if I try to find another spot. You don't want to click too close to the gray because that will confuse it and start to do something like that. So we don't want to do that. We want to click somewhere out where it's just pure white brightness where we didn't get any sketch drawings on it. And then we're going to do the same thing with the dark area. So come back over to the highlight or the eyedroppers right here and click this top one, which sets the black dark shadow areas. And for that, you may want to zoom in. And we want to click on the darkest part of the image. So in this particular image right here where I drew the eyes is the darkest. So if I click there, it makes all the black areas more intense, more contrasty, and darker. So you may want to experiment with different spots. It might not work if I click there or click there. It will just keep changing where the darkest areas are. So you got to be careful. You don't want to do something like that. You want to find the darkest spots. There we go. Back to the highlights again. In case you control or command Z to undo, make sure you do the highlights. Okay, so that's looking good. And it's looking great so far. It's looking more digital. However, there's these spots right here we want to clean up. You can see all these kind of smudges where your hand or you erase or something. And we want to clean those up back with these same sliders that we used in the past. So if we increase the highlights and the shadows, it will brighten the areas up to hopefully get rid of these things right here. So I'm going to increase this as much as I can. You see as I start to increase it, those areas go away. If you increase it too much, it goes like that and it gets rid of too much of the black. So you want to find a nice happy medium to where we get rid of those edges, but we could still see the image. Maybe increase the dark areas a little bit as well. If you are left over with a spot or two, that we can clean up, but we're trying to get rid of it as much as possible. So a little bit right there, but that's okay. We'll clean these up in just a second. So now it's looking great, and lastly, we need to clean up these spots. So to do that, we're going to create a brand new layer. Come down here, create a new layer that's going to go on top because we're going to add some brushing and we don't want to destroy the background. So let's go to our brush, click on your brush, make sure your color is set to white So make sure we have white right here because we're going to brush with white to get rid of these spots. So let's make sure our brush is pretty soft as well. And we're just going to click over right there. See, just kind of brush around, just very lightly brush to try and get rid of these spots right here and clean it up. So all we have is black and white. And this technique is primarily used for hand-drawn sketches that are just black and white. I haven't given you any examples with color, but if you have a sample with color, this would also work. Just gonna clean up kind of these areas over here. Just getting rid of these darker spots. So I don't have any just darker gray spots around like that. Perfect. So now we've converted it into this digital image from the original hand-drawn sketch. So that's it. That's as simple as that. We just added a levels adjustment and just tidied it up a little bit, trying to make sure that it was precise with the black and white. So what I want you to do next is do the same thing on the remaining sketches. However, this is not going to be the end. After you complete sketches 2 through 5, I want you to do it again with a new sketch. So you're going to take a picture of a sketch and start from there. I have some sketches examples in class you can choose from. Or you can pick one that you've completed on your own. So if you have a sketch on hand that you would like to convert into a digital image, you can use that. Or if you don't have one on hand, you can use any of the ones that are in the classroom. So you'll use the classroom cameras to take a picture of it like this. Try to take a picture straight on with clean light. Don't cast a shadow on it. You don't want any uneven lighting on it. And take that picture from the camera, put it in the computer, and do the same thing we did in this example to make it look digital. Okay? So have fun and let me know if you have any questions.